Hello, this is Alex Goodall from Your Digital Ally. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the wonderful service called IFTTT, which stands for If This Then That. And it's an automation service that allows you to perform all sorts of different actions based on all sorts of different triggers. And the way I'm going to introduce you to this is by showing how you can send a tweet every time you make a post on your blog. So the trigger is making a post on your blog and the action is sending a tweet. Now, having shown you that, you'll also be able to see how you can apply exactly the same idea to maybe posting to your Facebook page every time you make a post to your blog, and or sending a post to Pinterest or Tumblr or many other social networks every time you post to your blog. And of course you can do it for other things other than posting to blogs, but I think you'll get the idea from this one example. So let's go to the page where you can sign up for an IFTTT account. So this is the sign up screen for IFTTT at ifttt.com/join. And I'm just going to enter my email address and a password and I'll sign up. You could also register using Google or Facebook. If you're already logged into Google or Facebook, you can sign up using those credentials. I'm not going to do that because I've already got an account with IFTTT related to my Google account, so I don't want to replicate that. So here I am at the home page of IFTTT, and the goal is to set something up so that every time there's a post made to my blog, I send a tweet to my Twitter account. Now, I can go about this in two ways. I can first of all connect up my Twitter account to IFTTT, or I can go straight ahead and create the applet. I think what I'll do first is link up my Twitter account to IFTTT. So you go to services, and services is not services that IFTTT offer, but the services that it links to, that it connects to, such as Twitter, RSS feeds, weather. I mean, there's a whole load of them, and if I click on all services, you'll get a sense for the number of services that it's associated with, and it's beginning to associate with the Internet of Things. Look at all the appliances that it can connect to. Huge number of appliances: blinds, blogging, bookmarking, business tools, calendars and scheduling, communication. It goes on and on. Huge numbers of them. So the only way to find what we want is to type in and do a search. Twitter, that's what I'm after. So I'll click on Twitter, and now it's, because I'm not already connected up with Twitter, it's asking me to connect. One thing to note, I might have mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. IFTTT only allows you to connect one account for each social media network. So I've got multiple Twitter accounts, but for this particular IFTTT account, I can only link it with one Twitter account. That's in contrast to what you can do with a system like Zapier, where you can connect multiple Twitter accounts to one Zapier account. So for the zaps that you create, so Zapier, they call them zaps, in IFTTT they call them applets. With Zapier, when you say I want to connect up to Twitter, it says, well, which account do you want to connect up to? With IFTTT, when you say I want to connect with Twitter, there's only one option. It's the Twitter account that you've associated with that IFTTT account. So let me just click connect, and it will ask me to authorize it. Now, I'm already logged into Twitter, so I can just say authorize app. If I wasn't already logged into the Twitter account I wanted to use, it would ask for my credentials. So that's done. It's now associated my Your Digital Ally Twitter account with IFTTT, and you might notice it's now using the information from my Twitter account and give me a little icon. If I look at the settings, you can see it's linked. My profile in IFTTT is now associated with my profile from Twitter, which is quite neat. I could change the profile service and say, well, I don't want to associate it with Twitter, I want to associate it with my profile on Foursquare or Instagram or LinkedIn or anything of these other things. I would have to connect up those accounts to IFTTT for that to happen. But I've got a choice. So that's actually quite a nice little touch. So where are we now? Okay, so we've connected our Twitter account. I'm now ready to create my applet. So I click on that, and this is an applet that it had already created for me, which I've now switched off. So IFTTT had automatically created this applet, and all that does is it basically it's added me to IFTTT's mailing list. So whenever they've got something to say, they can send it to me via this little applet. I've switched off because I'm already associated with IFTTT with my main account that I use. So I can now just click New Applet, and that's the nice big friendly formula that shows very clearly what we're going to be doing. So if this thing triggers, then do that. And this is in blue, so we can say what the trigger is going to be. And remember, we want the trigger to be a new post on my blog. And the way that works is using RSS feeds. So I click on RSS feed, and I've got two options. I can either trigger it on every post to the blog, which is this one, or I can trigger it only if the post contains a particular keyword or phrase. So I can have some sort of filtering mechanism on there. But I just want to trigger this on every post to my blog, because I want every post to create an entry, a post on Twitter. So then I put the feed URL in there, and normally that's the name of the blog followed by /feed. And in my case, it's that http yourdigitalally.com/feed. You should double check that that's the case with your blog, but if it's WordPress, then that's certainly going to be what your feed URL is. If you just want to double check, take that URL, put it in your browser, and you should see something like that. It's fairly meaningless for human consumption, but it's not meant for human consumption. It's meant for consumption by things like IFTTT. So that's my feed, and I click that as the trigger, which means every time there's a new post, which is a new item on the feed, this formula is going to trigger. So that's going to triggered, and this is going to be what happens. So that can be anything. I can make a call, I can send an SMS, I can post to Facebook, Tumblr, send something to Evernote. You can see the power of the system. I just want to do something nice and simple, which is send a tweet. So I've got a number of options here. I can post a tweet just as it is. I can post a tweet with an image. I can send a direct message. I can update my profile picture, or I can update my bio. So again, this gives you a flavor for the sort of power, the things you can do with IFTTT. If things are happening in my business, I'm going through different activities on a regular basis, and I want to automatically update my bio and my profile picture on Twitter as I go through various phases. I don't know, maybe it's to do with the launch of some event, and as you get closer to the launch of the event, you want to automatically update your Twitter bio and picture. Or I don't know, I mean, I can't think of examples, but just give you some idea of the power of setting up automation using IFTTT. But we want something simple. Just want to post a tweet, maybe a tweet with an image. Now let me just explain the difference between those two. Let's look at my Twitter account. And I mean, I've got a lot of posts on here from different sources. But this one here is one that has come, actually it hasn't come from IFTTT because I was using some other tool within WordPress, a WordPress plugin, which I'm not going to recommend that because it is actually pretty complex to set up. There's more you can do with it. It is more powerful in certain ways. But if you're just setting up, I really just wouldn't bother with it. I'm not even going to tell you what the tool is. Just use IFTTT, and the results you would get would look like this if you were just posting the title and the URL. So that would be just post a tweet. It's not post a tweet with an image. Even though you can see an image here, that comes automatically because I'm also putting the URL in there, and Twitter then look at that URL, and Twitter will automatically come up with that, which is quite good because you've got the image associated with the tweet, and you've got a summary of the of the post, and you've got a summary of the post itself, which is, I think, normally just the first few characters. Whereas if you were to post a tweet with an image, the tweet will look more like this. So this isn't from a blog post, but this is the type of thing that you would see. You'd have whatever we put at the top as the tweet text itself, followed by a big image like that, which does look nice, I admit. So if our main image here was big as that, that would be great. The trouble is, we can't, we have to put by formula what goes in here. And also we want the URL to be put in there, and then we'd probably get this as well. So my preferred approach is to use the simple method, which is just post a tweet. And that's what it's recommending: the entry title and the entry URL, add an ingredient. So this is the tweet text, and what it means by ingredient. So the RSS feed has a number of components that you can access. The title, which is in this case the title of the blog post, the entry URL, which is the URL of the blog post, the author, the content itself, the entry image URL. So if we were using the second type of applet, we could explicitly say add an image to the tweet, the published date, and then the feed title and feed URL, which really aren't relevant for us. So this is what we want. We could put some text up here and say something like, I've just made a new blog post, entry title, entry URL, and I don't want to add any more ingredients, so that's my action. There we are. That's it. Do I want to receive notification when the applet runs? I might as well. That would just email notification from IFTTT. There it is. It's set on. I can switch it off if I want to do that. I can give it a check. It's checked and it appears to be working. It hasn't done anything. And that's it done. And you can see you can do exactly the same thing by going to applets, new applet. Say I wanted to make a Facebook post, to post to a Facebook page, so I can, okay, there's Facebook, so presumably that's your timeline, Facebook pages, I would go to there. Now it's asking me to connect my Facebook account. I'm not going to do that because I'm connected elsewhere. And you can see it's pretty straightforward process. So you can use IFTTT to automatically post to, obviously, Twitter and Facebook, your LinkedIn account, to Pinterest, pretty much any of your social media accounts, and do that automatically in a very straightforward way. Let me just finish off by mentioning a few more things about my Twitter account. So this is a post that came up pretty much soon after I actually made the blog post. This was done automatically by, well, it might as well have been done by IFTTT. It wasn't in my particular case, but that would come up pretty much straight after I made the blog post, or a few hours later. I've got other posts here, Twitter posts that relate to blog posts, but I've got some text in here that I put in explicitly, and a link to the post itself. I've got some motivational posts. These do get a lot of retweets and likes. Sadly, they get a lot more than my blog posts, but people like these things, so that helps engagement. Coming up here, there's another post to another blog related to another blog post. So they interspersed between these motivational posts and links to past blog posts. I would explain in other videos, or another video, exactly how I do that. I use a different tool for that sort of automation, but it does mean that I'm not limited to posting once for each blog post. I can constantly feed my Twitter account with information from past blog posts in a very structured, systematic way. But that's the topic for another video. So if that's of interest to you, you like the sort of stuff I create, then subscribe to this channel if you're watching this on YouTube, and give me a like. That will help a lot. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye for now.